Hello, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. It's Sunday, June 5th, 2022. I hope everybody is doing well. It may be a quick and quiet day, and that's okay. So, I discovered something, and it might be of interest to any of you. First of all, I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, but there's usually a little bit of truth, and that's why they kind of take off, right? But I've been thinking about this, and I started taking iodine supplements because something scrolled through one of my social media things and was like looking at signs of what low iodine are. And I was like, boy, that's funny. I have a lot of those. And I've never really thought of myself as having hypothyroidism or anything like that, but just was interesting. So I started iodine supplements and I have a lot more energy already. And so when you look at somebody talking about ascension symptoms and things like that, hi, Kay. When you look at somebody coming up with ascension symptoms, it could be something else that's going on. Ears ringing. Those are all kind of connected. So just look at that. Might be a little more than just, I don't know. I'm sort of like, I'm not sure how much I buy into ascension symptoms. I'm going to be honest. I think our country actually probably has a pretty large population of people who are iodine deficient. It's just my thoughts. Hi, Linda. So, Kay, you're the only one who's purchased a reading so far. So you're my list. You're it. Please please subscribe, please support me. I am on the brink of buying the phone it's the phone I want, but I want the one that has more storage, and that one is not available right now. So I'm waiting just a short bit more to see if I can get the one with a larger storage. I want to talk to you about that, but I don't want that to be your second question. I just want to talk to you about that experience that I had, and maybe it'll help you. So, but I wanted to say anyway, so I'm just waiting just a smidge bit longer to see if the supply chain opens up and delivers a phone with the storage amount I want. And it's probably overkill, but oh well. Okay. I will check in with him, but I want to tell you this. So from my own experience, so I had a dog that I got after college that somebody that worked with my sister found, and we put out signs, I guess, and it wasn't the right dog. That somebody came forward with, like, oh, that's our dog. And I was like, it wasn't their dog. Anyway, so she was like either a Yorkie or Silky Terrier, and she was a lot. If you've had a terrier, then you know. The little ones, the little terriers, they're a lot. And I mean, they're bred, this kind of dog is bred to be a mouse hunter. So there's like really, really, busy. And I probably was not I did not do a great job of training her. I didn't, okay, Linda, I'll check. I didn't do a great job of training her. She was like 4 pounds when I got her. So I was like, oh my God, she's so cute. Like, I want her to sleep in my bed. And I couldn't let her whine or cry. And so I didn't crate train her. I didn't, I was like, oh, she's so little. I don't want her to get hurt by other dogs. Like, what's funny is a Great Dane was totally scared of her. A Great Dane, 200-pound dog, was totally afraid of her. So I feel like I created this anxiety that she had. I totally did. 1,000% contributed to it, created it. I was and I felt very guilty when I had to put her to sleep. She had a degenerative kidney disorder, which apparently is common to the breed. She also had teeth issues, which I thought was really funny when the vet would be like, do you brush your teeth? I was like, have you met my dog? Like, what? And then finally one vet was really nice. And she's like, this is actually really common. You shouldn't feel that bad about it. So I was like, oh, thank God. Anyway, it's amazing how many times people make you feel like shit for something that's whatever. So I felt horribly guilty that I was the worst dog owner ever, that I created her anxiety issues, that I could have been a better dog owner, that I could have been whatever. And so like after I had to have her put down, I was consumed with guilt. And I was also very depressed. I missed her. And it's easy to think that you weren't the perfect fur mommy because you weren't perfect. I'll ask your dog. I'll connect with your dog. But my feeling is that, and this is the feeling I get from my dog, and it took me a long time to kind of connect with her and get this feeling, is like, no, you were fine. Like, it's okay. Because if you did such a terrible job, your dog would not be around you now. Your dog wouldn't be wanting to spend time with you. Your dog would be like seeking revenge. But pets are a different breed. In fact, I did a reading for a woman this week who I channeled two of her pets, or connected with two of her pets, her cats. And one of them was like, had this very Leo energy, like very like, I'm here, I'm the star of the show, I'm always around, give me attention. And the cat that she wanted to connect with was this one who was like much quieter. And I was like more respectful of boundaries. I was trying to explain that to her. In fact, she was like, I was like, you've seen her like once or twice, but like it either freaks you out or there was like some kind of like whatever. And so she sleeps with you at night, and that's when she spends time with you. So it's like easier, it's a calmer experience. And she validated that. She's like, I did think I saw her and I thought I was like crazy or making it up. And so I just thought she didn't want to be around me. And I was like, oh no, they do. And so, and both of her pets had health issues, and you didn't do anything wrong. You weren't a bad owner. So I feel like you need to know that. I think it's just a very normal, natural human thing to go through when we lose a pet, or suddenly, or we have to put a pet down, to feel like you could have done more or been more. Okay. So just on that alone, will you just like give yourself some room to be the imperfect human that we are? Hi, KK. I will tell you that, but I wanted to share that with you as a take some of the pressure off of yourself, because I mean, people do this when as parents, right? With our non-fur babies. And so I know you get it. None of us are. None of us are perfect by any means. So I just wanted you to like you're not alone also about feeling like, oh, the worst. I totally could have done better. Like that's, and I think what was really nice is my husband's friend reached out to me. He's a very nice man. And he sent me an email and he was like, hey, and I was like, I felt guilty. He's like, oh, we've all been there. Like, so, okay. So let's see. Will you please remind me of her name? Is your dog clumsy? Because I feel like being like I feel like I just licked your face and then I tripped over something, like like either stuck my paw in a cup or just kind of clumsy. Kodak. Oh, thank you. Yeah, because it's just like this feeling of like he just showed me like licking my face and then like tripping over, or like sticking my foot in a cup, or like just being like a kind of clumsy dog, like not. Did you talk to him like, because he's like, she's the best mom. I know this could not be validated, but he he showed me like you going, aren't you the best baby? Like like talking like very, like that would be how you greeted him. He makes me feel like he had to wait a little extra time before, like, maybe you might, like, not get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to let him out, and so he'd be, like, holding his bladder waiting. But I don't feel like I got yelled at or I was, treated terribly. I think that was the thing he hated the most, was holding his bladder. And I don't feel like he was mean, but I felt like it was like, "Oh my god, wake up, wake up." And I feel like when you were gone, he would, like, lay down wherever you normally spent time. So if you always sat, like, on the couch, he would lay down on the couch. Like, he would stay there to smell you until you got back. It was comforting. So I don't feel like this, like, while you're working or whatever, like, it's like holding your bladder or whatever. I don't feel like it's this feeling of, like, it was just like that's the thing. It wasn't this feeling of like, "Oh, I was always so sad without her. I always missed her, blah, blah, blah." It's like the smell was enough, but I just didn't like holding my bladder so long. That was the takeaway to me. I also feel like when he would, like, hear somebody outside the door, I don't feel like, you know, I'm trying to think of the word. He wouldn't go crazy, but I feel like we'd be a woof, like just a like the ear would flick up and it would just be like a woof, and that was it. Like he wasn't like my dog. She was a psycho. He just makes me feel like he's at peace. Like it's okay. And he says, I haven't left. Yeah, it wasn't like like my dog was psycho and like and like would not, honest to God, nuts. Like she might have had a little loose, but yeah, it just feels like just to let you know, like there's someone out there, but not for any other reason. Did he have like extra oily skin? Because I just feel like having like an oily, like I have the kind of coat I'm feeling is more like the way like a German Shepherd coat is, but not a long haired German Shepherd, a short haired German Shepherd. And like just how like when you reach in, like I mean, I keep smelling like a hot dog smell, but like just feeling like my skin's a little bit oily, or I don't know, not gross. Just I don't know why he's telling me that, but that's the feeling I get. So maybe I needed more baths more often, or because it's just like that hot dog smell. I mean, I feel like when you ask the question, does he hear me talking to him? Like, yeah, they all do. I mean, all spirits that have like, my grandmother at one point was like, "Leave me alone, stop!" Like, Like, stop talking to me so much. They all do. They all hear you. But I don't think he's annoyed. I just feel like he feels very comfortable and relaxed. He just said he'll send you a new dog when the time is right. Like when it's feels like maybe after your move. Hi, Emily. Okay. I'm sorry again. It's really hard to have to, say goodbye, even though we know they're always around. It's really hard. I had dogs growing up. Like my first dog, we had a little, I don't know what kind of dog it was. It was named Bunky. And it was this little dog, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. But apparently, it went to live on a farm. I don't really know that that's the truth. Apparently, my dad and my mom thought it was like not a great dog. Then we had my parents also had a golden retriever that we got when I was 6 months old. And she passed when I was 12, and she was like the best dog ever. And I didn't realize like how well my mom trained her. I mean, I didn't know that was like, it was little obviously when they got her. So I didn't know all the work that takes. It's a lot. So. Okay. All right. Oh, look at all of you ladies showing up to support. All right, Linda, if you want to go. And then after Linda is Nicole and Mallory and Shar. And Shar has 2. Okay. General reading. Okay. Yes, I did, Shar. I got it. Emily, these are paid readings. They're $12 a question, and 30% is going to be donated to Planned Parenthood. If you are in disagreement with Planned Parenthood in any way, I'm not sure why, but because I always think it's not just about abortions. It's about getting mammograms. It's about getting female gynecological care. But if you're against it, you can let me know, and I will donate your money to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Okay, general for Nicole around love, general for Linda. I don't know what this is. So first, I feel like your third eye has really opened up, and I feel like just like really making deep connections and spending a lot more time doing some meditations and doing some more connections with your own intuition. And I feel like then they say she's hoping to return, but I feel like this is I can't tell if they said to Newfoundland, but like Newfoundland, but I don't know if you're planning on going to Canada. Newfoundland's in Canada, right? Or near, whatever. Am I thinking? I have shitty geography skills. I just do, and I'm sorry. I just do. I need a map. I always have to look at a map Forgive me, it was never my interest. Science was my thing. And even then I get that wrong because I'm human. But so I keep feeling like they're talking about time passing. But it's interesting. I'm seeing, have you ever seen those in some of the Buddhist temples where they have like that thing that you spin? It's like I keep seeing that, like one of those like, just spinning and then, but like almost like this, like the essence of it energetically rolling off of it and going. So it's like, I think what you do with those is they're like prayer wheels. So when you walk in, I think I remember this correctly. When you walk in, you spin it to send your prayers out. So it's like I've sent the manifestations out. Like, so they've taken connection. That's really cool. They've taken connection and they're moving. I wish you guys could see the way I see this stuff. It's really cool. I need to see what you said. Does this make any sense at all, Linda? And then they're saying she has a sense of peace within her heart now. So maybe finally coming to a really, it doesn't mean I don't want love or I don't ever, but it's like really coming to this place of like owning and accepting and loving myself perfectly as I am. And so then whatever comes from that or with that, I'm okay with too. It's like this sense of, I feel like this sense of being settled. I do feel like you have a lot of traveling coming up for you because now I'm also seeing like Celtic crosses and so it's like it's going to be more than just this one trip coming up. Okay. I know you just said not traveling, but I feel like there's trips coming up for you. So more like 2023. Um, do you want me to look at a certain health thing? You're working with your Irish teacher on this. Okay, perfect. Because I'm like, I'm seeing Celtic crosses. I was gonna say, have you put like you know what like the Celtic are they runes? Is that what it is? It's like placing that over certain parts of you would be beneficial for setting the intention and like the reminder. So when I ask him about your health stuff, I feel tight here, but I also feel like a heaviness in my lower abdomen. And I'm like, is this a blood thing or whatever? I almost feel like it's a connective tissue issue. So maybe like fibromyalgia or I also feel tight in my jaw. So I asked them if you're going to be okay. They're like, in time she'll be okay, but it's going to be a slower recovery, like 1 to 3 years. It's not a like, I noticed it like this. Okay, so I felt the lower thing here. Um, so the tightness could just be anxiety. So the slow recovery may be because, and I want to say this, like, first of all, um, getting your, I know it doesn't make sense, but it's like getting stuff back into balance. I just do keep getting reassured over and over and over that you are going to be okay. It's funny. I just keep like, while you're doing meditation, I feel like you should be, as you breathe out, like pushing the energy down and then out. So it's like even with your hands, just pushing down and out, like doing a movement of moving the energy. I'm not saying this is going to heal you. It's going to make you better. I'm not, denying you should be doing um, long-term feeling. I feel like you'll be okay. Sorry, I didn't answer that. I mean, I answered it without seeing that. Okay. Okay. All right. Nicole just wants a general around love. Are you good, Linda? We're good. Y'all, I cut my own hair this week. I mean, literally cut my own hair. Not. I was like, maybe I'll try that. I've had so many bad haircuts. I couldn't do worse than that. And my mom, when I told my mom, I was like, yeah, I cut my own hair. My mom was like, why would you do that? And I was like, I don't know, because it'll take me like 3 weeks to get into her. She won't have an opening. And then I'll have to take like time away from like the few hours that I have without any children to like go over there and get my hair cut and leave. And I'm like, and I don't know, I just cut my own hair. Because I'm ridiculous. I think the back looks okay. It was an easy cut. It was like, like basically one length. And then I just did that whatever around the face. So it had a little shaping around my face. So whatever. I was just like, the ends were kind of like getting gnarly and I was getting tired of it. So like I said, I've had some really bad haircuts. So it's actually not worse than any of those. So here we go. Let me do this. Just feel like lighting this, one of these little frankincense-y things to kind of clear out the energy in between. Where's my lighter? I usually keep it under my seat because it's too big for my. Oh, because it's a ridiculous lighter. It's this one. This is frankincense for clearing energy. Not that you have negative energy, Linda. I just want to clear the air before I connect in with Nicole's. That's how I'm rolling these days. Okay, Leo sign, I'll check. How are you doing today? Is everybody doing well? I haven't been recording many TikToks because, life, whatever. It gets a little busy sometimes. And then I'm also like annoyed with my phone. And I feel like I have such a hate relationship with my phone. Y'all saw how it was working. Not so good. Okay. So hang on. So I asked, what do you need to know about love? And it's like you and Dave. And I was like, it's like, she's doing fine. I do feel like there was either like a hiccup or a disagreement or a little something, but it's like your mind and nervousness is like running away from with you, like making it more than it was. And they're like, just be gentler with yourself. Some of that is like the way our neurodivergent brains work, where we just like go to like worst case scenario, and you sort of have to like learn to like retrain yourself and be like, okay, but realistically, this wasn't that big of a deal. Yes, it's annoying. So I'm going to learn to just pause there. Don't go away on that train that's, taking me to the land of misery and devastation. And just, it feels like they said he was abrupt. It was abrupt. It's the feeling of like this is gonna sound stupid, but until I was in college, I didn't realize that you could have a fight with a person and like still be friends with them. Like I thought, one fight done, we're not friends anymore. And I don't know why I ever thought that, but that was like in my head. Like if we have a fight, then like we can't be friends anymore. Um, and I remember telling my friend, that was my friend Becky, and I was like, wait, like and she's like, what are you talking about? We're not friends anymore. We just had a fight. Like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, oh, I think that's partly my neurodivergent brain, but it's this feeling of like, it's not over. Like it's not done. So it's like I don't want to be like, I don't want to dismiss the part of our, like what people don't realize when you have either ADHD or a neurodivergent issue, autism or whatever. It's not to say like, yes, this does happen. This is a thought process, but you are perfectly capable of stopping in that moment and deciding to train your brain differently in a way. Does it mean that it might be harder than for other people? Sure. But you're capable of learning and changing behavior patterns. I mean, there's also the accepting yourself for who you are, like, oh, well, like I do this. And I just feel like the minute you start going, okay, this may be part of my ADHD, it might help, like even just accepting like, oh, that might not be the reality. That might be like the rejection sensitivity stuff. That might be what's going on here. Like it might help you just kind of take a pause back from it. And even if you open to that, like that's the possibility of what's going on, that it's not actually what's going on. I feel like that sort of helps shift the way you approach your relationships. I also feel like he's someone who, if you explain that, he'll get it and respect it. So the other thing is that insecurity is yours. Um, I had a lot of guy friends. My whole life I had mostly guy friends. I think that's part of my own, whatever, personality stuff. But I had several of them be like, I can't talk to you anymore because of my girlfriend or my fiance or whatever. And I'm like, and my neurodivergence is like, oh, that's okay. Like, I'll still be your friend if you want to come back. Like, I didn't, yeah, whatever. I accepted a lot of bullshit from people. Anyway, just because they're friends doesn't mean they're fucking. And at some point, you do just have to like go into the like, why would he even be interested when he has someone like me? Like, build your self concept up. Build your self concept up. Like, that should be a part of your everyday thing. And I'm realizing that more and more as I built my self concept up and like doing like the listening to self confidence affirmations. And like really making sure that's a part of my day, because when I stop doing it for a while, I start to feel a little meh. So I'm like, no, it's going to be a lifetime thing for me. It's not going to be, well, I've done this. And so now it's perfect and it's done, because, everything requires maintenance, everything. I mean, you can make things last longer by maintaining them. And it's like sort of like maintaining that belief system. I think that's where, like, a lot of people think that they can't manifest, or they can't change something, or they can't da 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 da, because so many of the people out there teaching stuff aren't saying, like, the reality is you're going to have some shitty things happen along the way. You might not manifest everything. It might not manifest perfectly. You're going to have to continually work on your self concept, because you're always going to have that little voice in your head, and that's okay. But you just have to, like, keep updating the program. And you have to do that with your computers and your phones all the time, and the apps all the time. They're always updating, right? So just relax. He's not going anywhere. I said so. So there. We all know I'm 100% right all the time. I kid. Nobody is. Okay. All right. Miss Mallory, what would you like to talk about today? Hi, Ghost. Oh, Laura. Laura and somebody else. Okay. Let me do my little zhuzhy poo. Oh, it already let itself out. I just want to have it be like all burned down. Oh, I'm glad. Listen, we all need, I found this circle in May of last year. It's called The Art of Circling and Joy Bendewald is a facilitator of these circles, and we get to do them online. We do them and it's like usually three, weeks out of each month. And then she does a free one too. And they're not, they're about working on yourself. It's not psychic development. There are some meditation stuff, but it's literally about working on yourself, and also finding community and connection. And it's not a lot of people going, oh, you're so great. I don't know. But it's like you start to see that there's connection with everybody. And it's important that we have people to encourage us and uplift us and remind us that even when the shit is like shitty, that it's okay. It sucks, but you're not alone. What's it like being a nurse? Fucking hard. And that's the truth. It's working. It depends on, I mean, staffing was shit when I first started back in 2000, and there was a shortage back then in 2000 or 2001. But the truth is, like, and I started on a floor that was all RNs. And it was weird because they say that in nursing they'll eat the young, and some of the older nurses are kind of shitty to younger nurses. But there's a lot of really good nurses out there too that are like really great about taking you under their wing and supporting you and helping you out. But I started on a floor that was an all RN staff. It wasn't a teaching hospital. It was in Austin. We didn't have residents. We had all OB-GYNs. And so I got really good at, like, learning to say, hey, this is what's going on with patients. But it's hard, and you're running and you're tired, and you're not just working a 12-hour shift, because if your charting's not done, then you're there after the 12 hours. And in Texas, they weren't great about great breaks. You got a half-hour break and then like 2 15-minute breaks, which is insane for somebody who's considered professional. So forget trying to buy your lunch, because your lunch will be over by the time you actually get it. So you're packing your lunches. And you work nights, weekends, holidays. If you're lucky, you get a day shift. And patients can be assholes, and some can be really great. And you really, really have to really want to help people. Like you really have to want to help people because it, and you have to learn to, I went into it, I think I didn't, I was young. I also, now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, I didn't have the executive function stuff as well to do with others. This is like long, this is about my own neurodivergence, why I had struggles. So that was harder for me and I didn't realize it. But like, you do have a support system and you don't have a support system. And that's, I don't know. I mean, it's hard. It's when people are complaining, it's hard. Nurses deserve better pay than they get because your license is on the line. I have caught uh, pharmacy errors, not just pharmacies within the pharmacy within the hospital, but like outside pharmacies. When I worked at Texas Children's, they would get their prescriptions filled. They'd have to bring them in, and we'd have to double check them to make sure because we were sending home very little, in many cases, fragile babies. List is still open, Allie. It's hard. There is no, I mean, I have had to talk to parents about making their kids DNR because the residents weren't. So I was trying to breach the conversation with them, talk about to parents once they've made their kids DNR. When their kids have passed, I have, I mean, lots of children like bringing their bodies to their parents to hold because they were born stillbirth. It's not an easy job. It is like, it is not what TV shows you. It is not even close to what TV shows you. So I'm not trying to discourage anybody from doing it, but just know that like it's hard. And when nurses are saying that their pay shouldn't be capped, and that they're right, they're absolutely right. They're not paid enough. They're not paid enough because also like when someone works below you, you've got like, you're responsible to make sure the doctor's orders are correct. You're responsible to make sure that your aides are doing what's correct. You're responsible to make sure what's the pharmacists are doing is correct. Like it's like that they've given you the right job. Like there's all kinds of responsibilities and they're not paid enough for what their responsibility is. And they're at the bedside. They are the eyes and ears of the doctor. So if it's not a teaching hospital, you don't have the doctors, the residents there 24/7 or the fellows there 24/7. You are it. You are making the judgment. I walked in on the very beginning of a shift and I was like having to call the doctor because the woman was basically internally bleeding out all night long and the nurse didn't catch it. And I was like, why hasn't she voided? Why didn't you catheter? You got nothing when you catheter. Like, what happened? So, and now they're trying to, charge nurses with murder. So when staffing is, I mean, it's just all like insane. So it's hard. It is not for the faint of heart, and they don't get paid enough. And that's the truth. All right, Miss Mallory, let's do your reading. It's interesting because I get this feeling of like being open to my intuition, and they're making me feel like it's open, but you're like refusing to see what they're showing you, like, or refusing to acknowledge it. Like I feel Tony standing behind me here, but it's that feeling of like either denying it or refusing, but it's like it's there. I also feel really tight right here. Is your neck okay? This is my right side. the back of your neck. So right around like C2 down to like, C4 or 5. Do you have a date scheduled for this week? Because it's this feeling of, I'm going to tell you before I try and read your thing, but it's like this feeling of like having an impending date or something, and him saying, and Tony saying he's not the one. Emily, I'm not trying to discourage you from being a nurse. I'm just saying like it's a big responsibility. So it's not like it's not an easy job. And once you're an aide, a lot of people I know when they're aides, they're like, they end up, this is actually probably a good idea, to be truthful. If you're not in nursing school yet, go to a hospital, get certified to be an aide, go to the hospital. A lot of hospitals will pay for you to go to nursing school. Get them to pay for you to be there. You're going to be working there anyway. Get them to pay for you. So it may be that there's one coming and it just hasn't been like, I keep getting like Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah. A lot of hospitals have an education, whatever. They'll require you to like work for a certain period of time. Otherwise you have to pay it back. And they also require you to hold a certain GPA, blah, 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 blah. But as long as you're doing that, a lot of them, like after you've worked for them for a certain amount of time, they'll pay for you to go back to school. So then you just keep getting your degrees like all the way through and they'll pay for it. Yep. I will still have nightmares of nursing that I'm working a shift that I'm like, I don't have my license. Why are they having me work? I don't like, why did I agree to this? Like this whole like, and then like somehow like wondering like, oh my God, I'm going to go to jail because I'm working without a license. Because I didn't get my license taken away from me. I just didn't renew it. And people are like, that's crazy. And I'm like, I wanted to go full force into trying to build this business and not having, but I can get it re-upped. I can just contact the board of nursing and be like, because they need nurses. Anyway, I'll have those nightmares and I'll have the nightmares then that I'm also working a shift and it's like 8 hours into the shift and I still haven't even seen one patient. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, that's nursing. Oh, no, I feel like this is something where it's like something romantic coming up and it's like he's not the one, is what he said. So you let me know next week. You don't even have to get a question, obviously. Just show up here and tell me. That's me typing because I am like a Foley artist and okay. I just heard your dog's going to be fine. Do you have a ramp for your couch? As I feel like he needs a ramp. So his little wiener dog legs can go up and down to get to the couch. I'm like T-Rexing it here. So I feel like, okay. I feel like, so it may be that you're connecting with someone and like maybe even emailing back and forth and it feels nice or whatever. And I just feel like he's telling me he's not the one. So I don't know why. I don't know. It doesn't mean don't show. It's like, I feel like you'd still be stubborn anyway. Gotta be honest. But yeah, that's what I feel. All right, Shar, what you got for me? So basically, stop ignoring your own intuition because, like, they're trying to get you to open up and pay more attention. Because truthfully, like, we can all do this work ourselves. I get it because sometimes I get readings and I'm like, just checking in. But the truth is, we can connect. We don't need somebody else to connect for us. Everybody can. I don't care what anybody says. Like, I mean, you can be more shut down in your belief systems around it, but like everybody has the possibility to open up and connect to their intuition. And anybody who tells you different, and mediumship, because it's all just energy. And so anybody who tells you differently, it's also like when people are like, oh, the Akashic records. I'm like, oh, fuck, it's not a place. Like, it's like, I don't know. I don't believe a lot of the shit that the community spreads around. That's just me. Congratulations on the job. I'm very happy for you. So as someone who's worked on my feet, invest in shoes that are like really, really good for your feet. So I think Arches, or sorry, Dansko has since changed, and they're a little bit more pricey, but they will be like the only shoe you need. But like look at nursing clogs or something like that, because it's incredible. Like the shoe makes a difference. I see people wearing like running shoes or, cross trainers, and I always had to wear Danskos. They were like, and I had a pair recently that I got rid of because the top was really in great condition still, but the sole literally crumbled out. But I had it for probably 15 years. So they wear. Yeah, I could never wear Skechers. Like I literally, it was like clogs. Compression socks are amazing. They're amazing. They're your friend too. Wear them, especially if you're, and make sure you're going to the bathroom when you need to go to the bathroom. But yeah, compression socks are really good to wear, especially if you're on your feet. And then at night, lay on the floor with your feet up to let like the blood get good blood flow back down. I'll help you. That's not the psychic stuff. That's just the being on your feet stuff. So, hi, Julia. Sorry. So the next 2 weeks, I feel like you work a really busy shift. So I don't know if you picked up like when I worked in the ER, I worked the busiest shift. It was 11 to 11 p. I literally couldn't fall asleep until like 4:00 in the morning after working. But so it feels like you're working the busiest shift. And I feel like it's just more chaotic. I don't feel like honestly, I feel like it could be more efficient than it is. But I feel like by the third week working is where you like get more comfortable with it and better at it. And like where things become a little bit more subconscious, like what you need to do, where you need to go, and everything else. Also, they said stop apologizing and just say thank you for your patience. I really appreciate your patience. They're like, stop apologizing, because what you're not doing right is really just more about being a novice rather than doing something wrong. So stop apologizing. So what's your other question? Just, they said, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. So Char's got one more, and then I've got Laura, Leo sign, and Allie, and that's the list. Hi, Rothka. Oh, it's been a while. Kind of. It's been a while since you've been on here. Any advice on how to meet my spirit guides? I keep feeling a woman, but I still feel like I can't connect to whoever she is or any others, and it's overwhelming me. No, Julia, you're not too late to donate. Okay, so I have a meditation. I mean, it's like I always like giggle because I'm like, I have two on there. And one of them is for either you can decide at the beginning, like, I want to meet a loved one or I want to meet a spirit guide. I think the biggest block to people meeting their guides is having an expectation of what the experience is supposed to be like. And so when it doesn't fit that picture, you're like, well, it didn't fucking work. And it's like, it didn't work. I'm not good at this. I can't do this. It's impossible. I must not have. And it's like, no, stop deciding or having that expectation of what your connection to spirit and your intuition is supposed to be like, and just take it as it is. Because once you sort of start to understand what it feels like, it's like, oh, I think I experienced a woman, but then it's terrible. It's like, well, but just if you just go, oh, there's a woman here. Okay, I've got a female spirit guide. Perfect. And then the next time you go in and do a meditation, be like, okay, could I connect with her again? And would you be kind enough to please share some more information? It can be a name, it can be a feeling, it can be a sound of a voice. It's not going to always come through the same because everybody connects differently with their feelings. First of all, Rothka, are you driving and texting me? Because stop that. Okay. I got you, Rothka. I got your payment. Just I don't Oh, okay. Voice text me. That's fine, Rothka, and then I'll answer. Totally, totally fine. Okay. So then, if you're claircognizant, also I want you to pay attention to when you do your meditation and you're trying to connect in. Just do the guided meditation I have. See if it works for you. It's free. And it's like not long, so it's not a big giant time suck, but just try it. If you don't like the one I have, there's a million other YouTube videos out there that are like, hey, meet your guides. The reason why I say it's good to know that you're claircognizant, and then if you're intuitive, do you feel it anywhere in your body? I think more of us are clairsentient than we realize, or sentient, however you want to say it. Doesn't matter. Tomatoes. But wherever you feel it, because that's gonna, like, that awareness will help you kind of get a better idea. And then it's like, well, how does it feel? Does it feel angsty? Do they feel warm and glowy? And then it can be like, oh, well, this is when I get this feeling, you can decide this is what it'll feel like when I know my guides are with me. So I don't know what the majority of my guides look like. I don't know most of their names. I don't really care. I feel them. I can feel them in mass. I can feel them individually, whether they're male or female or non-binary, because some of them are. And that's fine with me. Like, a lot of people are hell bent on needing to know a name and what they look like and where they're from and what planet are they from. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, I just know they're here and I'm good with that. And they don't fail me ever. And so I'm good with that. I don't have an expectation of what I'm supposed to experience with them. So I think it like lets it go. Also, people have this idea that when we go into meditation, you have some sort of specific experience, but it's going to be different. And every meditation experience is different. Like every time you sit down to meditate, it's like it's not the same. I have a totally different experience when I meditate in a group setting versus when I meditate by myself. I I do usually end up in like a meditative state after I do exercise. If my kids aren't around, I can like kind of lay on the floor in a shavasana pose and like I'm connecting. So it's just there is no specific, this is what it is. I don't want to tell you what I connect with, because I feel like then when you have your own experience, it's that idea of like the planted information from somebody else. And I want you to have the real experience on your own. And then maybe what happens is then I do a reading. I'm like, oh, this is one of your guides, and this is what they look like, and this is what blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, oh my God, that's the experience I have. And it's so much more validating and meaningful to have that experience. At least that's what I found in growing my own connection with my intuition and guides and spirits that have crossed over, et cetera, et cetera. Like it's completely a different experience to be able to have somebody validate in the moment, like, oh yeah, that's what you're getting, instead of going, oh no, I see this and I have no fucking clue what it means. And it took me a really long time to get to the point where I go, okay, this is what I'm getting. I don't know what it means, and I'm fine with that. I don't know, like here. And I can be wrong. We can all be wrong. I'm most likely, I know I can be wrong because I might be interpreting it wrong, but my guides aren't wrong. And I love that you're owning you're very intuitive, because that's also how you grow it, because what follows I am is really important. Okay. Okay, doke. Was just reading lyrics from Rothko. You're very welcome. At some point, I'm going to get back to doing psychic development circles. I steered away from them a little bit because one, they weren't filling up. I also wasn't probably manifesting it right and not pushing it out there enough. And I wanted to go to a 4-week versus a 6-week, because then it's not such a time commitment. But those circles work. They work. They work because it gives you a really comfortable place to get that feedback right away and learn what it is to connect with your own intuition and your guides and other people's guides and feel the difference. So try not to let it overwhelm you. Again, if you have this idea that it's supposed to be one way, then and it doesn't happen that way, then you think that you're not doing it or you're not connecting, and that's baloney. Yeah. I mean, so the funny thing is like when we first start to open up and we're like, oh, I think I'm psychic. And you're like, then you're like, well, I need to grow it. Like you're trying to do it on your own. And I've grown mine a little bit on my own, just through like random, like, oh, they said somebody's missing. Let me see what I pick up about it kind of thing. Or like when there's stormcast predictions, trying to like predict where it's going to go, like all of that stuff. But really, it's really good to like connect with other people. And also you get to see in those circles that everybody connects differently and everybody has gets their information differently. And there isn't one right way. But I also, oh my God, I saw this person post something. And it was like these circle and circle and circle, and they kind of overlap just slightly. And then it was like, if you can get them to come together, then this is strengthening your third eye. And like, no, that's not. That has nothing to do with your third eye. Why are you teaching people that? That's bullshit. So I don't know. Just trust your intuition also when it comes to following spiritual people. Like if you think it's bullshit, go with that and don't feel bad for thinking it's bullshit. Okay, Laura, what's your question? I'm going to just turn this bright light down because it's like shining really bright off my forehead and it's blinding me. My forehead is blinding me. And that's the truth. Okay. I've been looking for jobs for a while now. I'm a teacher, but not full time. Do you see me getting a better job in the near future? You need financial independence. You in Ohio? I don't know why Ohio just came to me when I was reading this. Or are you from Ohio? Okay. And then I'll go into whatever. I don't know why I was wondering that, but that's what I'm wondering. I think you're from. What's oh my? You live in Spain, but used to live in Ohio. Okay. So see, that's how your intuition works. Sometimes you get like random stuff. You're like, why do I get Ohio with you? You want to stay in Spain? Have you been to Alicante? Alicante is so pretty. And Valencia? Have you been to Valencia? Have you been to Valencia? Las Vegas? It is so pretty. And Benidorm? That is so pretty. Where in Spain are you? Oh. Have you thought about going, not that the Canary Islands are bad, but have you ever thought about going maybe that's why I was seeing like the ocean, because Alicante is right on the ocean. I don't know if so. I'm looking at just like what's coming up next is the way I'm asking the question, rather than will I ever get a full time job? Because I feel like, to me, I feel like yes, you'll get a full time job, but I don't feel like that's what's coming up next. What I feel like comes up next is doing what you're doing, but then also like private tutoring to help supplement, which then makes it easy for you to um, be more financially independent. But like actually like having a family of, I feel like it's 3 kids, and I feel like they're fairly well off. Hi, Joelle. Yeah, sure. You can ask. You can. That's what I feel like. It's not necessarily like the next thing that comes up where I'm working full time. I feel like I'm working part time and then maybe doing private tutoring outside of that. Is your schooling paid for them? But I mean, by like Spain, is it free or ish, free-ish, cheaper than the United States? You have to pay for it. Gotcha. I keep seeing this family that's a little bit more well off and you working with them. And it may be either that they like, maybe they contact the school and say they're looking for something, or through somebody you know that you get recommended for this. Like it doesn't, I don't know that it's, I mean, keep your eye out for job offers, but it like there's some connection to them that you would have, that it would put you there through what you're doing now or people you know now. And I love that the Ohio thing came through, because I feel like that gives you a little bit more um, reassurance about what I'm getting, that it's not like, just me making it up. Okay. Leo sign, Allie, you guys are up finally. And then after Joelle pays, I'll probably be done with the list. Will be closed. You're very welcome, Laura. Allie? I feel like your big sister, and I want to like shake you and be like, of course you're going to do well next semester. Have some confidence. So, Dylan James has a affirmation thing, and it has to do with like being a good student, getting good grades. So look for it and do it, please. I've been listening to Roxy Talks affirmations lately. I go through phases where I like listen to different affirmations. So that's the word. Okay, so like just go listen to those. But yeah, you will. You taking like a literature or like a writing class? Because I feel like there's this thing that's like, it's not required, but I mean it is, but it's like more elective-y. And I feel like it's going to be more time consuming than you thought, but not hard, just time consuming. Yes, Laura, you can donate for one more. Leo sign, I plan to travel to a village in Turkey next year, help them with organic farming. Will it happen? Yeah, and I'm getting March. So I don't know if it's that you fly out in March or that's the time where it's like, but they're talking about March. And I actually feel like you might stay there longer than you had planned. You just really enjoy the people and the culture. And they're telling me you're really good at what you do. Yeah. So you may be staying longer than you plan. Like, so say you're like, I'll be out there for 6 months or for a year. And then like 5 years later, you're still there and making a way of life for yourself. Listen, you can find a woman anywhere. Everybody's like, oh, I can't find one. It's like, but what are you willing to, are you willing to accept? I'm kidding. Okay, Allie, I want to remind you of something. C's get degrees. And I say that because I don't know that I went to any interview, even as a brand new grad, where they were like, what was your GPA? Like, they didn't care. They wanted to know I had a degree and that I was lined up to take the NCLEX. I don't think, like, so did you pass? You're good. Where does it matter? If you're moving on and you want to get like into grad school and things like that. But like, relax a little bit. You passed. And I don't even feel like you did terrible. I'm seeing like a B. I feel like we need to relax on how hard we are on ourselves. And I know it's really shitty that that's my attitude. I'm like, C's get degrees, but C's get degrees. C's get degrees. And actually, the truth is, the people who get the A's typically become professors. This is like some study I read somewhere. And the people who are C's end up being the people who do really well because they know how to work with others and get other people to help them do stuff. And they don't rely just on themselves. They realize that they may not be the best for some situation and that other people might be better at doing certain things. They don't think that they can just do it all. So just saying. And grades don't equal intelligence. They don't. Because I know what my IQ is and I know what my grades are. They don't equal each other at all. Are there grapes involved, Leo sign, in what you're farming? You think so? Because I saw grapes and like a vineyard-y type stuff. So that'd be awesome. I don't know. I feel like that was just maybe a validation of like seeing that. So, because I didn't see like, yeah, I think your father's really going to enjoy it a lot. I feel like to him, it feels like home. Like there's a really nice sense of family and community and belonging. And I feel like that's something he's never really had or in a long time. Emily, so yeah, there is kind of memorization, but I know now that there's a lot of really great apps out there and like video games and stuff that you can play to learn medical stuff. When I was in school a long time ago, there wasn't. So it was just like rote memorization. A lot of me and the way I learn is like taking notes and recopying my notes and recopying my notes and recopying my notes and recopying, just recopying and recopying and recopying. Because that's how it plants in my brain. And then also figuring out like the time of day that your brain works the best, and like waking up at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning was a great time for me to study. Hi, Hannah. Yeah, there's a lot of anatomy, but again, it's like it's a lot of memorization. But again, now there's like all these like there's video games, I guess now I've seen, because I follow a lot of doctors and stuff and like resident. I mean, I just like whatever, expand the circles that you follow on social media to learn different things. So, but apparently now there's all these like great new things that they've come up with for study techniques. Whereas like when I was in nursing school, I mean, not everybody had cell phones. I had a cell phone that I only used for emergency situations. Like if you wanted to find your friends, you're like, we're meeting up at X, Y, and Z time. See you then. If we lost our friends, I'd go leave a note on their door of their apartment. Like, because I knew we'd be out and I wanted to make sure. Like, I mean, I'm good. I hope you're well too. Okay. So Allie, yeah, you're going to do well. You're going to do better than you think. But are you taking like I said, are you taking an English or literature class? You're very welcome. I feel like I want to say this, like people will be like, oh, nursing school is so hard. I never looked at anything as being really hard. It was just certain things require more work and are a little bit more intense, but it's not hard per se, right? So more dedication. So like pharmacology is all memorization. It is all memorization. That's all pharmacology is. And also when it comes to school, like you'll read it in the book, you'll get all the stuff, you'll answer all the questions, but you learn a hell of a lot more on the job than you will ever learn in the books in school. And like there was certain things where I think it was something with chest tubes where I remember reading in the book, but I didn't really get it until I was at the bedside and I was like, oh, that fucking makes sense right now. Like it clicked. Yeah. I normally post this. It's in the, you're very welcome, Emily. There you go, Joel. I'll pin it so you can find it. And like med school has organic chemistry, whereas nursing doesn't have that. You have, anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, then like, also in nursing school, you have nursing care plans. You will write a million nursing care plans. You will hate nursing care plans. You will never do a nursing care plan again. I've worked in several different facilities, several different jobs. And since nursing school, I never did a care plan again. We started doing some charting where it was sort of care planning, but not really. So. It's this feeling of like having something where I'm writing a lot and it's just more work. It doesn't feel like a business class where it's a lot of work, but it's not hard, but it is a lot time consuming. So maybe it is the internship, but I feel like there's literature English feeling to it. But literally they're like, stop worrying about how you're going to do. You are going to sail through. Like, you're going to get through school. It's going to be okay. It's more you psyching yourself out than it is you not being able to do the work or being smart enough. Okay, Rothka, let me see what your question was. General reading. Okay. So I sort of feel like a cheater here when I say this, but it just feels like the door closing and leaving and the door is closed and I've set that boundary and I've done really, really well with it. And that feeling of being really proud of myself that I set the boundary. And it doesn't, like, when we set boundaries with people, it doesn't always feel good. But like it's necessary. And this one feels like it doesn't, like, it's that feeling of, I wish I didn't have to do this, but I'm really proud of myself for doing this. Moving forward, I will say, this woman in particular, you know who I'm talking about, you're going to have to keep maintaining that boundary and you're going to have to keep setting it. And it's, I do feel like the gentleman, you know who I'm talking about, is a bit, disheartened that that's the way it is, but he's understanding. And what's most important to him is his relationship with you. So he's willing to abide by these boundaries. And then they said, listen, he's not like really, well, you can't see this, so because you're listening, but it's not like he is like overly adoring and like enmeshed in this woman. Like he, it's the relationship between the two of them is maintained for a sense of duty and a sense of like, what's the word I want? Obligation, like fulfilling a business contract. He's like, they said, he's not like wanting to be there all the time anyway. Well, that's interesting. Not that I think that you were wishing for this, but they did say she'll be gone sooner than you think. So if you're like, oh my God, this woman will live forever. And I know that's exaggerative, but they're like, she's really not going to live as long as you think she will. And I actually think she may pass before your father. Did your stomach just get tight? Did your mom make like did she really like, because I just got this really strong, I felt like your mom was there and it like almost like holding you together in a way. Like it's like that they're showing me more metaphorically, but it's like cinching up um like a bodice is the way it looked, but like to hold it together and like literally like holding you, keeping you from falling over or falling apart, quote unquote. And then I got the smell of like garam masala seasoning. Where it's got this like almost like a sweet coriander-y and um what is the other shit, what's it called? The warmer seasoning. Cumin. I heard it in Spanish, comino. um just that like that scent, I just got that, so I don't know if that's something she really liked making. And I know you were really little when she passed, but it's just this feeling of like home. um she's telling me she's doing right by you now, so it feels like she's helping line up everything for you that's coming in your path to help make things easier, the way she said it. She's making me feel like you need to stop dismissing or denying or ignoring that she's around, or like somehow like, because she's like, I am here, and you can all she says all you have to do is ask me for help. I want to help. I want to be here. I quote unquote didn't or couldn't be there when you were little. It was impossible. um, but I'm here now. And what's with a banana? I don't understand a banana at all. I don't know the banana connection. I don't doesn't mean anything to me. So it's something for you. Thank you for pulling over. That was very generous of you. Apparently, Sirius has a sleep channel, in case anyone was wondering. That was an important message. Okay, let's go Julia, Joelle, and Laura. Is that sufficient, Rathka? General for Julia. Hang on, let me do this little zhuzhy wuzh. I gotta go get more of these little scenty cones, whatever you call them, incense cones. Boo. This one's not lighting. Oh, there you are. Rude. Ooh. Don't burn your fingers. There we go. Again, not that you have bad energy, Rathka, just I appreciate you. Yeah, what's your dad's name, Joel? If you can do that, and then I'll look at him. And is it like, are you sharing this with them, or is there something you want to? Okay, hang on. I'm not sure about the banana. Wife and I have a funny running joke that she's not allowed to buy them. That can be all that it is. It literally could be just that, so that you know that your mom's seeing that, she's seeing what's around. Okay. Okay, Julia, here we go. Do you know what a lobster claw is? Like I was gonna say the patisserie. Why can't I fucking think words today? The pastry, the lobster claw pastry. I don't know why they showed me that. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Maybe you just had one today. Close that up. So they're sort of talking about you needing to have patience and connecting with your own guides and connecting with your intuition, because it's that feeling of like when I first closed my eyes and asked, "What do you need to know?" and it was like, "Nothing's coming, nothing's coming, nothing's coming." Like I literally heard that, "Nothing's coming, nothing's coming, nothing's coming," and then I heard she needs to have patience. She needs to like just relax and be okay and sitting in the nothingness and the no answers and the abyss. And then once you get okay with that, that's when the answers come, and that's where the wisdom and the knowledge comes. But if you can't get just comfortable in that, you're letting your anxiety and your ego run you. And they're saying like your anxiety and your ego is not a real thing. It's something that's made up. I mean, not that it's not really there and not that it's like, oh, you're just crazy, but like it can be redirected. It doesn't have to be given so much weight and attention. And I'm not saying that anxiety isn't real. I'm not saying that it's always easy to maintain, but even your therapist will teach you tips and tricks how to like circumvent it, how to write it out, how to not give it so much credence. Like, okay, I know I meant, like, I said this to my daughter and even to my best friend, like, who has anxiety and many reasons for having it. So that's not to say that it's not valid, but like she was worried about trying a new medication. She has migraine headaches and was worried about, side effects. And I said, has the worst this, like, I was like, have you ever fallen on your face from feeling a little bit dizzy? And she's like, well, no. And I was like, so like, even though you don't like the feeling and even though that throws you into anxiety, like know that you're always okay, even when you don't like it. So it's like taking the edge off of the anxiety for her, like sort of looking at it like, but remember that, even if that's not a great feeling and you like know that you have always been okay. And sometimes for me, and it's not to dismiss somebody's feelings, but I know for me, if I can look at things, situations that way, it takes it back. The other thing is there's this idea like because we have this idea that when we put something out into the universe and ask for guidance, that we're going to get that information right away, or we ask for a manifestation that there's going to be a sign of it right away. And while that can be possible, it's not always. The truth is sometimes it's a quiet thing. Like, so when I'm manifesting, what I found is like when I do the like for weight, like for toning up and stuff, I release all the extra, any extra body fat that is no longer necessary for me to hold on to for health reasons, because we do need to have body fat on our body because maintaining all kinds of, things. It's this idea that like it's just gonna start burning off you. It's like it's not. The universe will then start placing things, if I'm quiet and just patient about it, start placing information that leads me to improving my health. It's not like all of a sudden my body is better. It's this idea that like they're sort of saying, like, again, like somebody else, don't have the expectation that it has to happen this way and then wondering why it's not happening because it's not happening the way you think it's supposed to happen. It's like being more patient. I'm sorry, I know I'm rambling. Does any of this resonate? Because I just feel like I went on this whole long voyage and I'm trying to find my way back. Have any of y'all watched that Teal Swan documentary? I've been getting ventricular palpitations because I'm stressing over getting cardiologist referral for prolonged. Okay. No, Julia, this is not for you. But it could, or yes, Julia, this is for you. Sorry. So, all right, let's look at that because that's what you really want. Like, I always think it's funny when people are like, well, I want a general because you want to hear about what the health stuff is. First of all, don't stress out about it. Do they have you on like when they sent you home over having prolonged QT waves, did they put you on a Holter monitor? Like a 72-hour or whatever Holter? No treatment yet. You went to the emergency room, right? Or an urgent care? because this isn't psychic, but I feel like they're writing your need to see a cardiologist is your referral. I have to say this because there's like this is part nursing and part my guides. So they're saying like, yes, you have this, you will get in. It feels like you're going to be okay. Like it doesn't. They said, remember, they wouldn't have sent her home if it was like that dangerous. Okay, so you have the referral. So you're stressing out about something that you already have. You have a referral already. Don't stress out about that. That's your referral. If they say, if they wrote in their notes, so you need to call whoever said that you had this ECG, this who did the EKG and found the prolonged QT wave upon ER or whatever. If they didn't write you a formal prescription for it, ask them, say, look, I was discharged. Can you please look up my notes by this doctor? I need this, or you can take your discharge diagnoses. They should have had something somewhere. That is your referral. Go within your insurance and find a cardiologist that is, primary, whatever that is, I think they call it a primary physician within your insurance network. And then they should be able to see you and get you in. So you don't need to see anybody else in order. You shouldn't need to see anybody else in order to get it, because a doctor already saw you, looked at your EKG, and said you need to get in. So there's more than one cardiologist out there. Go find another cardiologist that doesn't have the wait list. Sometimes your insurance company is kind of crappy and that like they give you a weird list. Like I know for my daughter, when I was trying to get her evaluated, and I was like, I need a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a neurologist who will see her. And they gave me a list of all these like neurologists who specialize in adults post-stroke. And I'm like, that's not what I need. Like they weren't helpful, and what they had, their list that's compiled is like garbage. And I'm not sure why they're not a little bit more like, oh, this is what they specialize in, and have them divided by that. It's like, it's stupid. It's stupid. I think insurance companies are stupid. I wish we had a totally different system. Oh, you don't get a choice in the UK. Okay. I will say this. If you were a super high risk, or they were concerned, because remember, that's all that they do is look at EKGs. Like they do that a lot, and they're really, really good at looking at EKGs. They see it. Like I've worked with cardiologists before where I was like, what? Like they're really good at reading them. If there was really something of concern, they wouldn't let you wait. Okay. So please relax about that. That's not psychic me. It was partly from my guide saying, like, remember that if it was really bad, they wouldn't let you wait. They would have admitted you to a hospital. You're welcome. Laura, do you want to write? The list is closed. Beats. Because I've been on here for almost 2 hours and I still have 2 people to answer for, if that's okay. But I am here every Sunday, and you could come back next Sunday. Just subscribe to me and you'll get the notification. And okay. Laura, yes, of course you're going to finish it. I also feel like finishing it quicker than you thought. So maybe you get through your thesis quicker than you thought, so that like it's, some people like drag out their degree because they take forever to write their thesis and then go and whatever it's called, not challenge it, but where you go in front of people and you present it. I never had a master's degree, so I don't know what it's called, but I know people who have, and I just forget. No, you'll be fine. You don't let work worry you. You'll be fine. For whatever reason, it feels like getting it quicker than I thought. And I don't know that you'll stay in the Canary Islands, but I feel like you go back to Spain, maybe, like to mainland Spain. All right, Joelle, I'm getting to you. Sorry. That was just a quick question to answer. Okay. And I'm trying to decipher what you wrote here, so please forgive me. Okay. Ask a general reading for my dad. Let me ask this. Are you asking because you're wanting to know about his health, or does he want the reading? I think that's what I'm trying to figure out. Did your dad used to smoke? Sorry, I'm feeling very wiggly. Are you here, Joelle? No, Joelle, are you here? Are you delayed? So I want to know if you want to look at health stuff, because I keep getting health stuff around your dad. So maybe what I'll do is I will email you, because I can do that by the magic of the world. And I will do this outside of this, because I also know that you're on a different time zone than I, so maybe you're sleepy. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to answer your question. I'm just messaging you. I'm going to answer your question. When either we can do it privately. Not that there's anything bad. I don't want to sit here for dead air time just in case you're delayed. Okie dokie. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Follow me on TikTok if you're on there. I'm going to start posting again. I just need to stop being so angry at my phone. It's just been a bitter thing. And thank you for supporting me and believing me and trusting in me. And I hope you have a wonderful week. And I'll see you next Sunday, same time. Oh, Joelle, you're here. Okay. You definitely did. Okay. Bye. Have a good one.